There are seasons on the line tonight in Tennessee as the stage is set for Nashville SC and the Charleston Battery. The Eastern Conference quarterfinals. They're next from First Tennessee Park. It is game night for Nashville Soccer Club, and this one is not like the others. This is the first USL Championship playoff match ever played in Music City. It's the second-seeded boys in gold of Nashville crashing into the ninth-seeded Charleston Battery. Two clubs stepping to center stage and putting their seasons in the spotlight next in Germantown. Before it all begins, we want to welcome you up to our broadcast booth. John Freeman, Ronnie Woodard. The winner of this match advances to the Eastern Conference semifinals to face either New York or Indy 11. And Ronnie, it's the playoffs. You played in them. You coached in them. How do things change tactically and mentally for the players?
Well, this is not about getting points. This is about surviving and advancing. The winner of tonight gets to play another day. So the theme of the playoffs is win the day. You're going to see aggressive soccer, you're going to see front foot soccer, you're going to see risk-taking, and you're going to see two teams that are playing to get a result.
It was a stormy day in Nashville. The skies have cleared, and down on the pitch is our Kelly Glendenning.
Thanks, John. Yeah, I really hope that the skies stay this clear, so fingers crossed. And with Charleston being the number 9 seed, they've actually been pretty difficult for Nashville SC in the past. So before the game, I asked head coach Gary Smith how he plans to keep them out of their rhythm tonight.
Well, I think it really highlights how tough the Eastern Conference is, full stop. There's not an awful lot between, you know, a swathe of teams up the top end of the league. We need to make sure that we really ask some questions of these early on in the game to see if they have got some jet lag in their legs. So, you know, maybe that's the right way of putting it. The game as it moves on, I'm sure it will see a group that are either going to dig in and get the job done in Charleston, or the week's events are going to take their legs away from them. What we know is we've had a good week, we're fresh, we're ready, we're going to put them under pressure, we're going to ask some questions, and we're going to see what their resilience is like.
The overall series record between the two teams is 1-2-2, with Nashville's lone win coming right here at First Tennessee Park back in August. John?
Thank you very much, Kelly. We are now just minutes away from the Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Nashville and Charleston. Kickoff is next from First Tennessee Park. The postseason table set in Middle Tennessee. Supporters with lungs and drums ready for the first, and if things don't go to their desires, the last home playoff match ever at First Tennessee Park. Let's examine the lineups. We will begin with the home side, who elicits a 4-2-3-1 packed to the brim with conference and league leaders. Lebo Meloto tops the East in assists. Daniel Rios leads it in goals, and goalkeeper Matt Pickens is the league's Golden Glove winner.
Well, Rios with back-to-back 20-goal seasons at the top of the list. He's drawn the attention of every defender in the league. Plain and simple, this MLS signee scores goals and is the most feared attacker in the MLS East.
Matt Pickens, the 37-year-old goalkeeper, 14 clean sheets, are tops in the entire league. Just one goal allowed in the last 6 starts for the player who won an MLS Cup with Gary Smith in Colorado. Let's go ahead and take a look at the visitors. As for Charleston, their presence in Tennessee assured via penalties in a midweek play-in match versus Ottawa. Their 5th match in a 2-week span for the Weary Battery. Just one change, Atula Guerra up top. Their Bermudian playmaker, Zico Lewis, again illuminates the 4-4-2.
The number 11, the very talented offensive MVP for the Battery, is tricky and creative on the ball and provides a very dangerous service with a fantastic left foot.
Lewis played 7 matches for his native Bermuda in 2019, including action in the Gold Cup. Well, after a grueling 34-match season for Music City Soccer Club, here is the encore. A home USL Championship playoff match in Nashville. The first of its kind, and perhaps one South Carolina surprise from being the last of its kind. The only guarantees left in this soccer season are pressure and these 90 minutes. Nashville and Charleston whistled to life in the Eastern Conference quarterfinal underway in Germantown. The Tennesseans are the boys in gold tonight, and the Battery on display in the whites. Nashville won the coin toss. They will be attacking away from their supporters. Here's Kotaro Higashi dancing around Alan Wynn. The late whistle coming from Greg Dobka, our official tonight. It's a set piece for Charleston. Dobka makes his return to the USL playoffs after a 4-year hiatus. His lone USL Championship playoff match was officiated back in 2015. He brandished a red card in the 21st minute of that match against New York, as they eventually fell to the title winners, the Rochester Rhinos.
This is where Nashville has to be careful. 30 seconds into the game, they give up an unnecessary set piece to Lewis, who can serve a tremendous left-footed ball into this mix. Charleston's very good at set pieces. They've got great height in that box. This is going to be a dangerous opportunity.
It's Lewis standing over. Strikes to the back post. Headed down in a tricky area and climbing the back of a Nashville defender was Arthur Basua, who gets the start tonight and feeling the effects of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at our Vanderbilt Health injury report, which includes Cameron Lancaster, a surprise inclusion after a training injury. Michael Reed misses out on the playoffs for the 2nd straight year. Meanwhile, Ken Tribbett's name leaps off the list after a month-long injury, and he is available as a substitute tonight. And speaking of an injury report, well, Charleston and Basua suddenly questioning his ability to participate here. Took a knock. Goes to the nose.
Yeah.
Perhaps forehead.
I think
Might
he's
have
got a little cut. His
nose
nose is bleeding, I believe. I believe it's his nose. Right there.
Welcome to the playoffs. At least for Nashville. For Charleston, this is their 2nd match in the postseason this year. Wednesday night, they went up to Ottawa and advanced via penalties after 120 minutes of soccer.
Well, and
take a look at the cause for blood.
Good ball by Lewis in. And Boss was 6'3". He is climbing the back of Jimmy Ockford on that backside, but he got up so high it looked like he might have gotten either a piece of Ockford's elbow in his nose or the back of Ockford's head, and possibly both.
Backline tonight, Jimmy Ockford, Forrest Lasso, Justin Davis to the left, and Darnell King to the right. Operating in the midfield is Bolo Akinyoti. Matt LaGrassa. King. Trying to seek out Lebo Maloto. Finds its way to Atula Guerra, who did not play in Ottawa on Wednesday night, fully rested. Charleston working out of a tight area with Higashi. They expanded the back line to their captain, Taylor Mueller, and now Kyle Nelson. A.J. Patterson, flick towards Higashi. Long searching ball from Darnell King. Down the line to Daniel Rios. Grappling already with Jared Van Schaik. Down to the ground, Angelo Kelly. Wynn cutting inside past Patterson. And it's teed up on the left foot. It's got it well wide.
Well, Alan Wynn just got a little bit anxious. He had great little chop to the inside, super quick. His prep touch let him down, and then his decision to take a strike, a little bit impatient on his side of the field. But, you know, Alan Wynn chopping into that left foot, I'm okay with that. You know, him being dangerous and being a threat on his left and his right foot is nothing but a good sign for Nashville.
And Gary Smith told us the game plan coming into this match. He thinks that there are some opportunities on the flanks that players like Alan Wynn can exploit. Here's Charleston, flopped in, easily claimed by Matt Pickens, the goalkeeper. If fans keep up to date with us all season long, follow our journey to Major League Soccer at NashvilleSC.com. Back to the game plan, Ronnie. Gary Smith says the team needs to have their creative individuals, you know, the Lebo Maloto types, to produce and unlock the battery, who he expects to be very tightly defending their half of the field. And he also wants Nashville to dictate the way the game unfolds, to play on the boys and goals terms. What does that mean? Well,
he's got to get on the front foot. He's got to be a little bit more aggressive. They are definitely, Charleston that is, defending in two banks of four. You can see them right there. Their line is tight. They're definitely condensed. There's not much space to be able to play in to find Maloto right now. You've got Guerra that's coming into the midfield to do some defending on Bolu, and so thus making it an even 3 versus 3 in the center of the field. Nashville's going to have to use the ability of their back players. So Justin Davis and Darnell King are going to be really integral today, because in order to pull them out of that shape, they are going to have to be able to get forward and create on the dribble. If they can get forward and create on the dribble, they can then commit Higashi and Rittmeyer, and then they can pick them apart in behind that part of the field.
It's worth noting that Ropapa Mensah is on the bench tonight for Nashville. He is the one change in Gary Smith's 11 from Nashville's comprehensive 3-0 victory to close the regular season over Atlanta United 2. Justin Davis exploring that far flank along with Taylor Washington. Stayed in play.
I'm not sure that did stay in play, actually. I think they just continued to play.
The assistant referee is on the other side of the field.
Yes, he is closer than me, but I feel quite sure that was all out.
Davis curled into the path of Taylor Washington and cut out by Taylor Mueller, the mass defender tonight. Over 200 career games for the Charleston Battery, the captain in his 9th year with the club. This is, go ahead and say it, the most historic soccer club in the United States. The longest continuously operating soccer club in the United States, now in their 26th year of existence.
And I like that when we discussed Charleston with Coach Smith this week, he talked about the storied history there and the respect and the expectations that come with being part of the Charleston Battery. And I really found that very intriguing, and the amazing amount of respect that Coach Smith has for Coach Anheuser and what he's done with this group, and that Charleston's expectations are to advance to the playoffs. They are to get results. And the players know that, the club knows that, the coaches know that, and I think that's a true testament to a program that has gone through the test of time.
A lot of continuity in this Charleston club, including with their head coach, Mike Anheuser, began his career with the Battery before 16 of his current players were even born. 25 years combined as a player and coach for Anheuser and the Charleston Battery.
Although that stat's nice, I'm sure he's not going to like you mentioning the fact that he's been around that long.
It speaks to his quality of a coach.
It does, absolutely.
Very few coaches on this planet that can say they've been
True.
coaching for over a decade with one particular club.
Well, and I think that the thing that's even larger than that is the loyalty that he has to the Charleston area, to the Battery. And I think that speaks volumes about the quality of a person that he is.
There is Anheuser. The journey that he has led with Charleston has produced 4 league trophies across a variety of divisions that the Battery have participated in since their founding. Oh, it's a quick turnover. Nashville with Lebo Meloto! What a start! It's Lebo Meloto who strikes. The Battery baffled and left to clean up their own mess. Playoff smoke in Nashville for the first time ever. What just happened to the Battery backline?
Comes off of a turnover right there from Nelson in. LaGrassa read it, played an early first-time ball into a wide-open Lebo Meloto. Look at this. Turns, takes a touch, looks up, has plenty of time, beats Kuzminski on the near post. Excellent job by Matt LaGrassa to step in, put that pressure. Nelson was trying to play into Kelly to get out of pressure. LaGrassa reads it cleanly, easily, plays a first-time ball into Lebo, who's by himself.
The Dex imaging goal for Lebo Meloto. It is his 6th of the season. And certainly his easiest one. Gift-wrapped goal for Nashville SC. Gary Smith told us the game plan coming in as well. He said, we got to put them under pressure. We've got to make them feel their fatigue. Speaking of the Battery, and Nashville did just that with the high press. See if Charleston has an answer. Nelson's cross, leaving Matt Pickens unbothered.
Well, and remember, Charleston has 13 draws on the season. So this team can stick around. They can get some points. They don't mind going to penalties. They're coming off a high where they just advanced on penalties 5-4, where they hit all 5 of their shots. If they could keep this to a draw to get Nashville to that place, I think that's a good spot for Charleston. However, for Nashville, they need to stay on the front foot. They need to keep being aggressive, and they need to take advantage of situations like that. And that's a true testament right there to the amount of work that Nashville did. It's not easy. Although the ball and the finish to Lebo looked simple, in the playoffs, nothing's actually simple, but he put it away like a champ and like a pro.
And for the Battery, suddenly finding themselves on the road in the 12th minute after quite the journey to get here. This is a team that took a 2-hour bus ride just to get out of Ottawa to the airport in Montreal, and then 3 flights for each player on the team just to get here in Nashville after playing 120 minutes in a different country on Wednesday. Kuzminski has kept this in play. And for more on the Battery's trip around North America, our Kelly Glendenning down on the sideline.
Yeah, John, in regards to Charleston's journey to Nashville, Gary Smith said he's anticipating some mental and physical hangups as a result for Charleston. However, he doesn't want to underestimate their resilience, and he says they've been here before in the playoffs and have a very experienced coach like you two were talking about earlier. So he really wants his team to ask questions of Charleston early, which it appears they have done so, and to expect a highly competitive match. John?
Thank you very much, Kelly. Charleston team with just 4 clean sheets now in 19 road matches. They nearly escaped First Tennessee Park with a draw in the first meeting this season, in the second meeting this season between Nashville and Charleston. First meeting in Nashville of the season, and Boys in Gold getting a late winner from Boluak and Yodi in stoppage time. Meloto still fighting and scrapping at the edge of the penalty area. Now Boluak and Yodi. Meloto again. Washington. Win. a giveaway in a poor area. It's ignited the counterattack. Rittmeyer spearheading it. Plays it off towards Basua. Washed out by Forrest Lasso.
Ooh, that was a really dangerous ball from Alan Wynn. Straight square ball in the center of the field, right into Rittmeyer, who sparks that counterattack very quickly. It's just a mistake by Wynn. Rittmeyer reads it, comes across. A square ball across the center of the midfield is a defender's nightmare. And then he overplays in to Basua, who wasn't really on the same page as they were, and Nashville easily saw it out of bounds.
Boys in gold putting the pressure on. Rios attempted to combine with Alan Wynn. Daniel Rios, multi-goal games 6 times in his career. Coming off one last Saturday night against Atlanta United 2. 2 of Nashville's 3 goals. Interestingly though, Ronnie, in the match following a multi-goal game in Daniel Rios' career, he actually hasn't scored. Trying to break that streak tonight.
And you know, it's going to be a difficult night for him because in Van Schaik and Mueller, those are 2 very good center backs.
Full-blooded challenge from Taylor Washington. First time service towards Rios! Right into the midst of Joe Kuzminski.
Good ball by Washington, straight into Rios. Rios barely had to move. Attempts it first time. Kuzminski did a really nice job of getting from his near post to the center of the goal on that. Again, beats Nelson, gets the ball in, serves the ball right onto Daniel Rios' foot. Excellent ball by Taylor Washington. I think maybe Rios could have stayed over that a little bit more, kept it a little lower, but good footwork by Kuzminski to make that look like a very simple save.
Taylor Washington rewarding his manager for inserting his name into the team sheet. It's Washington has really come on here late in the season, Ronnie. All 3 of his assists in the lone goal this season for Washington have come since August.
Well, if you look at that left side of the field for Nashville, you've got Justin Davis and Taylor Washington, and both have great speed. Both have a lethal left foot. Extremely dangerous on the cervix, good technically, and can run the entire flank for the whole game. And there you see it right there. There's Washington, and look, overlapping him is Justin Davis getting into the attack.
Well, fans, see the latest team content on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at our handle, Nashville SC. Last touch by a Battery player. Washington towards Rios again, made the near post run, falls back for the Mexican. Now Meloto, Alan Wynn. It was either Patterson or Kuzminski who turned it aside. Clear-cut chances for the boys in gold. It could have nearly been 2-0.
That's a great strike by Alan Wynn. Look at the first ball comes in. Rios opens his hip, tries to get a touch, can't get it, lays it back off to Meloto, strikes it well, another deflection. Alan Wynn really catches that ball. I think that went off Kuzminski's right leg. Let's take a look at it right here. First with Patterson, second I think is Kuzminski. There it is. Great strike by Wynn on that, and a really quality save by Kuzminski.
2 big saves already from Kuzminski.
Big.
Does set up the Coca-Cola corner kick in the 18th minute. Turned aside by Rittmeyer. Rios. Ball crossed the byline and will be a goal kick for the visitors. Picture perfect start for the boys in gold, Ronnie. Everything you could ask for in the opening 18 minutes of a playoff game.
Yeah, and Charleston's just off a step, aren't they? You're seeing balls going out of bounds. You're seeing some errant passes. They didn't punish Nashville in 2 opportunities that they had. They had an early set piece and then that turnover in the midfield. You know, Charleston is not coming out to defend. They're not pressing Nashville at all. And so when Nashville gets the ball, they've got to be disciplined, maintain possession, and try and pull Charleston out of pockets.
Rittmeyer. Basua, swarmed by 3 Nashville players. Down the line to Nelson. Patterson. Patterson reloads. Weaving through, nearly found its way to Arthur Basua, and it did take a nick off a Nashville player, so it will be a corner kick for Charleston. Time for Matt Pickens to arrange the troops. Just 1 goal allowed in his last 6 starts. Zico Lewis. Higashi back for Lewis. Off to the direction of Nelson. Skip off to Tennessee turf and out.
I think Zico Lewis might have been a little bit better served to go ahead and strike that ball. They played that short corner, and with a left foot like Lewis has, he has the ability to put that in the far post, make it a bit more dangerous than what he just did.
Well, Lewis has been a gem so far for Charleston. Played his last year of professional soccer in Iceland, was previously with New York Red Bulls 2. Leads the team with 7 goals and one of the top players for the Bermuda national team, which despite being an island of less than 100,000 people is competitive in CONCACAF matches. Displayed their skills in the Gold Cup this summer. Higashi scored on this end at First Tennessee Park. These 2 teams met several months ago. The battery attacking towards the wall of noise. The fans get Nashville SC updates and alerts all year long by clicking follow on ESPN.com. Basua. Rittmeyer. Akinyoti with words for Rittmeyer. We thought went down softly running.
With the type of defending that Bolu does and the strength that he has just as a sheer player, there's never a soft tackle when you go in with Bolu and Akinyoti.
Take a look around the USL Eastern Conference. Ooh, how about that one? Pittsburgh making their intentions known. A throttling of Birmingham. That game was 5-0 at half. Now in the 56th minute. Darnell King has latched onto a pass from Alan Witt. Continues his run forward. Laid off for Witt. Expelled off his feet by the defender Van Schaik. Also saw that Indy had taken the lead over New York Red Bulls 2, a New York Red Bulls 2 team that dropped down several Major League Soccer players on Major League Soccer contracts from New York Red Bulls, who were ejected out of the playoffs earlier this week.
A few extra minutes for some of their players, a little sense of pride.
Hold that vacation. Win. Now Rios. Hold of play is good. Finds its way back to Meloto. Wide for Washington. Washington trialing Nelson. Washington has won the Coca-Cola corner kick. Battle of pace there on that far sideline between Washington and Nelson.
Good little battle. Great tackle. You know, Nelson's had a couple of problems so far in the match with Taylor Washington isolating, getting in behind him, getting a couple of quality services. So he's gonna mind his P's and Q's a little bit more and lay that tackle down.
Service providers, Justin Davis and Melodo. It's Davis's corner kick. Oxford was rising. Slammed towards the target and whistled wide by Allen Wynn.
So that's 2 strikes on goal today that Allen Wynn has wholeheartedly caught the center of the ball, and they're near misses. Very good strikes. It's an outswinger by Davis. It's cleared, but again, finds the center of the ball, strikes through it. Good look from distance for Allen Wynn. I think that's a good sign for Nashville and for Allen Wynn on the day. It's twice that he's found the center of the ball, and he's just been a little bit off target.
Basua marauding through. On the floor was Oxford for the challenge. Turned away by Davis. Supporters chanting the name Jimmy Oxford. Lewis. Higashi. Van Schaik. Patterson. Lewis again. Oh, neatly worked to Patterson. Cross towards Nelson. Dealt with by Davis. Twice. Forwarded by Melodo. Sit towards Daniel Rios. Foot race with Van Schaik.
That was quality combination work between Justin Davis and Lebo Melodo. Excellent job. Final ball into Rios was maybe not as on as they thought it was going to be. Backline was dropping. Rios turned it into a foot race. But the quality of work in between Davis and Melodo right there, maintaining possession to try and spring the counter, was classic textbook. That was great.
Now Nashville draws its lines. Charleston trying to skip over them. Popped up to Rios. King afforded space. Rios inherits. Ross's switch was altered. They'll pry away from the other side. Fully committed challenge for Rittmeyer.
It's another square ball across the center of the midfield. This time it was from Matt LaGrassa. Nashville's got to be really careful. They've got to do a little bit better job of not playing a square ball, put a little bit better of an angled ball.
Here's Wynn. There's been a spark so far. Going right at Patterson. It's about the best you can do with Allen Wynn in a 1v1 situation.
Oh, his feet are so quick. If he faces up 1 versus 1 on that end line, very rarely does he not beat the defender, and he'll either get a service or it'll result in a corner kick.
Saves from Joe Kuzminski. This scoreline could be higher. '28th minute, Coca-Cola corner kick. Jimmy Oxford and Forrest Lasso loitering with intent. Hurled in by Davis. Headed down, scramble for it. We'll try again from the other side. Based on the reactions of Matt LaGrassa, he thought he had a clear-cut chance and just couldn't convert. Watch out for 20 in gold. Really important defending there from Patterson.
Yep, number 20 from Charleston and number 20 in gold is matched up 1 versus 1 in there. Patterson did a good job of getting a foot on that ball.
Ibo Maloto, who leads the team in the Eastern Conference with 10 assists. Disputed real estate. Grassa and Patterson in negotiations. All under the watch of Greg Dopka.
Rios is going nose to nose right there with Van Schaaf too. It's very personal in the box right now.
Comes the corner. And now Lewis, chance to kindle the counterattack. The Tulagera making a lung-busting run in front of him. Ibo Maloto is tracked back. Down is Lewis. Whistle sounded by Greg Dopka. Greg Dopka wants to have the conversation with Matt LaGrassa. It was Maloto who committed the foul. I think perhaps reverting back to some of the commotion on the corner kick.
So Charleston, as we're waiting for Lewis to be tended to, Charleston had a clear-cut counterattack. They had numbers flying forward on that attack, and Garrett chose to slow it up and hold it. So watch right here. Here's Lewis, comes in. It's a foul by Lebo.
Set piece for Charleston. Curled in right to the spot. Darnell King, who got the ultimate touch for Nashville, finishes off his work. Pump back in by Kelly. Taken by Rittmeyer. Now for a Nashville throw. Hey fans, Major League Soccer is almost here. Season tickets are now available. Ticket packages start at just $25 a match, and payment plans are available. To purchase your 2020 MLS season tickets, visit NashvilleSC.com. Echoes of Bohemian Rhapsody emanating from the supporters section.
And still going.
Trainum, fan and supporter who was honored in the pregame ceremony. Over 20,000 miles traveled in the last 2 seasons to support this team. Going to more road games than he watched on television.
He's a super fan. You know, he even traveled to Birmingham last week to cheer against Pittsburgh. He is, he's one of the reasons that Nashville Soccer Club is here. You know, he fought for it, he believes in it, he lives it, he smiles like that every single day. His loyalty is outstanding and admirable.
He also keeps track of soccer history in Nashville through all the semi-pro and amateur teams. And talking to him this week, he said, there's never been a professional, semi-professional, or fully professional home playoff win for a Nashville club.
I believe him.
Going back to the days of the Nashville Metros. Here is a set piece. Supporters sing Queen at First Tennessee Park.
So the only thing I'm a little disappointed about is with Halloween a week away, there is not a Freddie Mercury in the middle of the supporters section right now.
Oh, they've slipped through. Daniel Rios, the flag is up. He is offside. Margins running. Daniel Rios
looked at the assistant referee.
See just how close it was.
Ooh. That was tight as the ball was played.
Patterson. Into the Tennessee night. Now Basua. Oh, it's fallen in front here. Penalty. Chopped down was Nico Rittmeyer. In the battery, a chance to answer back from the spots. Rittmeyer pointing to a mark on his leg, indicating a high boot from a Nashville player. And on first glance, Ronnie, it was a no-doubt penalty.
There's no discussion. I think they're more upset because of the cleat marks that are on his quad. Straight down his quad from Forrest Lasso.
No card given. It will be a penalty kick, though. And the battery will have to get it by Matt Pickens, the top goalkeeper in the USL. Will have to get it into the goal and sits in front of this wall of noise. It's Zico Lewis to level things at First Tennessee Park. Scores. Battery right back in it. Zico Lewis delivers. This team from the Low Country just will not back down.
This is what we talked about. If you let them stay in the game. So here it is. Matt Pickens thinks he reads it, gets a little off balance. Lewis goes to his left, lower left, off his left foot, but it's a great stutter step by Lewis as on his approach to get Matt Pickens out of his rhythm. It's a great finish by Lewis, his 8th goal of the year.
Nashville had threatened so many times here in this first half in Charleston. Rarely a dangerous opportunity, but they convert on the penalty kick. Nashville's lead vanishes. Lagrassa. Out by Rittmeyer as far as Ockford. Coolly done by Akinyoti. Washington, it's a hopeful service. To be dealt with by Patterson. Fans follow Nashville SC and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus. Home to the USL, MLS, and more. Sign up today at ESPNplus.com. It's past Akinyoti. The battery a chance to embark on a counterattack.
And need I say another square ball played by Nashville.
Guerra. Past Darnell King. And Greg Dopka reaching into the pockets. And the yellow card out to Nashville's right back. Darnell King, the first player to go into the book.
I mean, he just cuts the corner. Garrett cuts the corner on him. And King just took it a bit more personal than really probably needs to be at this point in the game. That was high up in the field. Probably could have gotten a recovery run in behind not a great yellow card offense. Not a great decision by King to commit that. I don't mind the foul, but to get into an environment where you're going to get a yellow on it, it's just not a necessary card.
Heaved in towards Nelson. Not touch a Nashville player. Answer is no. It'll be a goal kick for the boys in goal. Well, right as Charleston was looking wobbled and staggered, a lifeline in the penalty. Level again at First Tennessee Park. The 9th seed and the 2nd seeded Nashville Soccer Club. And if you're a Nashville fan, obviously you want to avoid penalties. You're the favorite in this match. You also want to because Charleston as a club this season has gone to 2 penalty shootouts, and they've converted all 4 of their penalty kick attempts in games themselves. They are perfect this season.
And add one more on today.
This game included.
Oh, okay.
13 of 13. Wynn cuts it back on Patterson. Rios to his left. But just too far in front of the Mexican. Continue this focus group on the near side. Win. Grassa. Visitors staying compact. Battery player went down heavily. And it's Kyle Nelson, 22-year-old. Actually shares an alma mater with Forrest Lasso. He's a Wofford Terrier. Seems to be all right. Well, soccer fans, get your official Nashville SC gear, including MLS styles, online at NashvilleSC.com. Probably played Wofford during your time in the Southern Conference?
I sure did. Wofford, Furman, College of Charleston. They all spent lots of time together. Well, there's a lot of College of Charleston graduates that play for this battery, too. Oh, Pittsburgh and Birmingham.
Touchdown.
Oof.
Lewis.
What's everybody say? Don't count out Bob Lilly. Don't count him out. Pittsburgh manager.
Is anybody counting him out at this point?
No one counts him out ever.
Birmingham, who will surely end their season tonight. They're one of the reasons why the Battery are here. They pulled the upset against North Carolina. Had they not have, this would be Nashville versus North Carolina FC. Where the USL seeds the teams. Nashville getting the lower seeded team of the 2 that won the playing game. That would be the Battery.
So talking about the Battery, we have 2 local coaches that actually played professionally for the Charleston Battery. One is Eric Bossman, and he's a coach at Tennessee Soccer Club and works in IT at Vanderbilt University. And the other is the Lipscomb women's soccer coach in Kevin O'Brien. Both played for the Battery back in the day.
Most historic club in the United States. One of the most successful, too. 12 straight playoff appearances for the Battery. Here's Rios with his back to the target. Maloto scouting. He's picked out Wynn. Patterson holds his ground. Wynn blows right by him. Squares it back in front. Coming in, it's Washington, and how did that not go in? Turned over by a Battery defender.
By Lewis.
SOS defending from Zico Lewis.
Another great strike from Nashville, this time by Taylor Washington. Look at Alan Wynn. Lifts it up over the tackle of Patterson, gets that isolation touch at the end line, lays it back across. Half chance right there, but a great strike on his right foot, his non-dominant foot, and deflected.
It does lead to the corner kick, and it's Rios! Of course it's him! The man's a star! Daniel Rios scores, and Nashville soars back in front. thanks. And the boys in gold send the smoke and the scars back to the sky.
Heads the ball down as he should. Kuzminski's already in his goal, diving backwards on the deflection. Ball goes in, but that's exactly what you want. When a ball served into the box on a corner kick or any type of service, you want to head the ball down because it makes it a very difficult save for the goalkeeper. Kuzminski was there. If that had been higher, Kuzminski could have gotten a hand on it, kept it out of the back of the net, but the fact that it was low, he had to go to ground, and it caused all sorts of issues, and when he did that, he dives backwards, the ball's in the back of the net. Great finish by Daniel Rios. That's exactly what Nashville needed going into halftime. They did not need to go into the locker room tied up at 1. They needed to get on the board, be rewarded for the amount of play, the amount of opportunities that they've had. And if they could get one more before they go in there, even better.
Goal number 21 this season for Daniel Rios. First postseason goal he's scored in the USL in his career. Back-breaking goal for the Battery, though.
Oh, absolutely.
After clawing one back.
And think about the defensive work that they've done today. How many of these balls have been struck on frame, have been struck well on frame, and they've thrown their bodies in front of it to keep it from going in the back of the net.
Visitors do well to work out of high pressure. 1 minute of stoppage time tonight here in this first half. Battery playing their 5th match in 13 days. Tank on empty, but press their foot to the gas pedal again. Muscular, experienced defending from Justin Davis.
Well done by Justin Davis to keep his body in front of Rittmeyer. Had pressure on his back, maintained his composure. Look at that. Of course, they're exchanging and pulling some jerseys there on the sideline. I don't think the assistant referee, I think he was blocked actually by Rittmeyer and couldn't see Justin Davis actually holding Rittmeyer's jersey.
Only in the playoffs do you get that reaction for winning a goal kick for your team. Well, a wild first half has reached its conclusion. Gary Smith's side steps into the dressing room, leading 2-1. The go-ahead goal came from that man, Daniel Rios, his 21st of the season. It wiped out a Charleston equalizer from Zico Lewis from the penalty spot. And Nashville SC will go into our halftime presented by Nissan, leading 2-1. They will attack towards their supporters in the second half at First Tennessee Park. The Eastern Conference quarterfinals halfway done in regulation time. Well, the Battery looking to pull the shocking upset. The 9th seed hung tough for a while. Nashville did find their second breakthrough with Daniel Rios, and the second-seeded boys in gold after 45 minutes lead by a goal at First Tennessee Park. Our halftime presented by Nissan coming up next. I think this is off.
You're not updated.
Yeah.
Welcome to halftime presented by Nissan. Earlier tonight, the club recognized one of its most loyal supporters who has traveled thousands of miles to support the boys in gold. Clay Trainum was presented with a framed, personalized jersey signed by the entire team before tonight's match. He's been a constant present both on the road and here at First Tennessee Park. In 2 seasons, Clay has traveled nearly 23,000 miles to Nashville SC away games. So on behalf of the club, thank you, Clay, for your unwavering support. Stats and standings are coming up. Stay tuned for more of halftime presented by Nissan.
Well, a lot of our expectations being unfounded heading into this match. One, we thought it was going to be a mud fest with rain pouring down. It's turned out to be a beautiful night at First Tennessee Park. Our other expectation was this could be a really close, combative, tightly wound game. Instead, after 45 minutes of action, 2-1, Nashville SC with the lead in our halftime presented by Nissan. I'm John Freeman, joined by Ronnie Woodard. Let's go ahead and take a look at our first half stats. And Ronnie, these stats will point you to the conclusion that Nashville has a deserved lead. Here they are, 9 shots to 1.
9 shots, and deservedly. There has been some heroic defending by Charleston players inside of the box. They have had total lack of regard for their body. They've thrown themselves into very good opportunities that Nashville has had looking on frame. 1 from Taylor Washington, 2 from Allen Wynn, and they've all been on frame and great defensive stops by Charleston Battery. But the thing that's going to concern me looking forward is Charleston could stay in this game if Nashville continues to foul them. They gave up a penalty. They gave up some dangerous set pieces within striking distance of a quality service on frame. And Charleston's, they're all over 6 foot tall, the players that are in the box. And the players that aren't in the box have a great ability to serve a ball and find that target. So they need to mind their P's and Q's when it comes to the fouls that they're committing, because that could keep Charleston into this game.
This is the USL Eastern Conference quarterfinal. Let's go ahead and take a look around the league as every single playoff team left in the Eastern Conference in action right now. And actually that Pittsburgh game just went final. An emphatic win for the top-seeded Riverhounds. And then Indy 11 right now, is that a full time? They defeat New York Red Bulls 2, 1-0, which means the winner of this match will face Indy 11. If Nashville were to win, it would be right here at First Tennessee Park, same time next Saturday.
So that's a great matchup for Nashville. And Nashville needs to take care of business. They need to stay present. They need to win the day. As we talked about earlier, the only thing that's important is not getting points today, is just simply getting a victory. And it doesn't matter if it's pretty. It doesn't matter how it happens. Nashville needs to be set up to play against Indy 11 next Saturday night here at First Tennessee Park.
So 3 teams have their spot in the USL Eastern Conference semifinal booked. Just one more spot remaining. It will either be Nashville's or Charleston's. As we continue on in our Nissan halftime report, 2-1, Nashville with the lead here in Middle Tennessee. We will have our first half highlights and the second half kickoff when we return from First Tennessee Park.
All right, soccer fans, hopefully you're enjoying the match so far. I'm meteorologist Justin Chambers from Fox 17. Your drive home forecast, we're talking about mid-50s. That rain still kind of hanging out in the overnight hours, and cool temperatures as well. We will be drying out by the time we head towards Sunday, so drier conditions for sure, especially for the Titans game at noon at Nissan Stadium. And then we're going to keep those drier conditions as we head into the first part of the week, which is our final week of October. Halloween is right around the corner. Enjoy the rest of the game, and go Nashville Soccer Club.
Thank you very much. It has turned out to be an incredible weather night here at First Tennessee Park. Beautiful weather. The clouds cleared and the rain stopped, and we finally got about 70 degrees around kickoff, and Nashville and Charleston now 2-1 at halftime. It is our halftime presented by Nissan. John Freeman joined by Ronnie Woodard. Thanks so much for coming up to our broadcast booth. And well, Ronnie, first of all, we need to make a correction. We showed a graphic in our last segment. It said Indy 11 in the New York Red Bulls 2 game was full-time with Indy winning 1-0. That's not true. There's still about 20 minutes left in that game to decide who will face the winner of this match. So that game's still about 20 minutes to go. And Let's go ahead and dive into our first half highlights from our game. It's Nashville SC taking the lead over the Charleston Battery. It was a big error in the back for Charleston, and Lebo Maloto capitalized on.
Yeah, Nelson took the ball, played a tight little ball into LaGrassa. He read it really well, and the first time ball that LaGrassa played into Maloto, who was wide open, Maloto has an opportunity to get his head up, slots the ball into the near post, 9 minutes into the game.
Now here's Charleston's lifeline. Their only shot on goal, and their only goal came after this foul in the box. And it was Zico Lewis who converted against the best goalkeeper in the league, Matt Pickles.
Well, and an undeniable penalty. I don't think anyone can dispute the call. And, Lewis did a great job of getting out, putting that in the back of the net. But then Nashville answers in about the 43rd minute. Ball sent in by Justin Davis to Daniel Rios, who heads the ball down, gets the ball in the back of the net. Kuzminski gets there, but he's diving backwards. The ball ends up in the back of the net. Nashville goes into the locker room up 2-1 on two very good goals.
Goal number 21 of the season for Daniel Rios, who led the Eastern Conference in goals scored and was only behind one man in the Western Conference. That's Solomon Asante. Go ahead and take a look at an updated bracket across the USL Eastern Conference. And for Nashville, they're again looking at that New York and Indy 11 game that is yet to go final. 1-0 to Indy 11 right now, late in that match. Pittsburgh easily advancing. And then Lou City topping the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's a big matchup next week. And for Nashville fans, if they were to advance in this match, they would most likely want Lou City to win that game. One, because you expel the 1 seed from the playoffs, but then two, it would also mean that Nashville would have home field advantage throughout the rest of the Eastern Conference playoffs.
And if fans remember, the last game that Nashville and Lou City played was an exciting box-to-box thriller of a match.
Daniel Rios has played Charleston 4 times in his career. He has never beaten them. Back underway at First Tennessee Park. 45 more minutes of soccer, 45 more minutes for these teams to make their case to advance to the semifinals of the Eastern Conference.
I would say coming out of the locker room, one of the big goals that Nashville should have is to get that third goal, get that assurance goal, and then they can slow the tempo of the game down. But they need to press early and try and get up and get results.
Allen Wynn traced down on the far side. Options arriving in the box. Sturdy defending from Patterson. He was called into duty quite frequently in that first half, trying to stop 19 in goal. Rittmeyer. Bosua. Clairvoyant defending from Forrest Lasso. All right, Ronnie, if you're the Battery, your second game in 3 days. You played 120 minutes on Wednesday night against Ottawa. You're down a goal on the road. How do you somehow manufacture a way to equalize this game?
Yeah, they're going to rely a little bit on counters and their ability to convert on set pieces and to draw some fouls off of Nashville. You can see them, they sit in 2 banks of 4, and when they gain possession, the ball, it's very quick. They're going forward. They're trying to isolate Lewis. Lewis is trying to get himself free into little pockets in the midfield to help create. And they haven't really utilized Guerra that much today. He hasn't been a factor in the game. He spent most of the time defending because Nashville had a good portion of the ball. But in transition, they haven't been able to find him and isolate, and he hasn't held up the play for them at all, allow them to get numbers forward.
Turned over by LaGrassa, reclaimed by Akinyoti. Davis stirring the attack forward. Amplified by Maloto. Rios cuts it back.
Great double by Higashi. Daniel Rios faces up, chops that ball back onto his right foot, and Higashi comes in, provides the covering player, doubles on that backside. Rios didn't even have any idea he was standing over his right shoulder.
There's Lewis, Charleston's lone goal scorer. Higashi. Guerra in a spot of bother. Coolly dispatched by Akinyoti. Rumbling forward is LaGrassa. Nashville's last win against Atlanta United 2. Gary Smith in the post-game press conference said the best two players on the field that night, Matt LaGrassa and Bolu Akinyoti.
Well, they really dictate the rhythm of the game. One's a box-to-box midfielder in Matt LaGrassa. Bolu Akinyoti really anchors the defense. He sits right on top of that back four and allows LaGrassa and Lebo Moloto to get forward and do what they need to do to create goal-scoring opportunities as he sits in there and does the defensive dirty work.
Positive first touch from Nelson. Sliding challenge from Washington. Nashville playing out of its own penalty area.
Great composure by Justin Davis. Under pressure, still manages to maintain possession of the ball and play a tidy little ball into Matt LaGrassa's feet.
Lewis twisted towards Guerra and cut out by Ockford. Higashi. Masked Mueller. Wide for Nelson. Gold gatekeepers. Quality combination work from the battery. Step into the final third with Rittmeyer. Go out for a Nashville throw. Gary Smith wants to get this back in play quickly. Fan Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. Rios. Washington. Closed down by Nelson. Cool combination work. Washington puts his head down and delivers. Put it back towards the penalty spot. Stirred to safety by Higashi. Inserted by LaGrassa. Oh, it falls for Alan Witt, who nearly got a foot to it. By the reaction of Joe Kuzminski, this will be a Nashville SC corner kick. While they prepare to take it, Kelly Glendenning has some news on the sideline. What do you have for us, Kelly?
Thanks, John. Coming out of the locker room, I spoke with Gary Smith about the first half and what he wants to now see in the second. He said he's obviously pleased with the team's performance this far, but really wants to see them on the front foot in this first 10 minutes, specifically utilizing the wings more. He said he thinks that they have been a threat out there on the wings, so he needs that to get going to see more from his offense. John?
Coca-Cola corner kick for Gary Smith's squad. Scored on one in the first half with Daniel Rios. Placed in by Moloto. It was Rios first to it, but well away from the point of contact was Matt LaGrassa fouling Kyle Nelson.
Did you see it? Did you see the play when it went through?
No.
So I was watching off the ball, and LaGrassa and Nelson definitely have a little match going on. He gives him a little push. Here it is right there. There's one, and then he blocks and throws his hip out on Lewis. So he pushes Patterson from the straight front, and then he blocks and sets in and throws a hip at Nelson.
Lewis, that's a lovely ball towards Patterson. It's low and driven off the post. He bolts out of the blue. The Battery still knocking on the door. Lewis did not have the texture on the shot he needed, but nevertheless, where did this strike come from the Battery?
Patterson gets over. Great strike by Patterson. A little bit. I think he did not touch it. Matt Pickens was on that post, didn't quite extend enough to have it covered. Lucky back post, but what a strike from Patterson. Bending away from Pickens, off that left foot. Great strike from distance. But again, that shows the sense of urgency that Nashville must have. They have a 2-1 lead that is not safe. Nothing about this game is safe right now.
Wynn was chopped down, taking the return pass from Daniel Rios. Set piece in a promising position for the boys in gold. Every time you think the Battery might be knocked down, they come back swinging. Kuzminski working the blueprint. Davis and Meloto standing over. Knuckled in, weighted by Mueller.
So there are very few teams across the Eastern Conference of the USL that match up in size with the Nashville on set pieces, and Charleston's one of them. Their entire back line is over 6 feet tall. You've got Patterson, Van Schaik, Mueller, Nelson, all strongly over 6 foot tall. Kuzminski in goal over 6 foot tall. They've got a really large back line. Usually when you see Forrest Lasso and Ockford and Bolu Akinyoti step up into the box for a set piece, there's a height advantage, and there's not that today.
LaGrassa. Bumped away by Kuzminski. Meloto. In a moment of pause for the home side. Well, fans, the USL unveiled its elite youth platform, USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level. For more information, visit uslsoccer.com/academy. Wynn weaving through. Lung-busting run from Darnell King. Cuts back on Van Schaik. Stays with King. Cross comes in towards Rios, and it falls for Washington. LaGrassa. Davis! Spun wide. Through traffic and out.
That was a great little sequence by Nashville. Loads and numbers in the box. You see Darnell King getting forward, having a good 1v1 battle, fighting through it, provides service. We're going to get a good look at it right here. Plays it back into Wynn. Deflected off of Mueller. Washington didn't like his look. LaGrassa didn't like his look. They play it back with much patience into Justin Davis, who strikes a good ball. Unfortunately, Lebo Meloto was standing right in the path, and instead of being able to step over it, it bounces off of his leg.
Chilly breeze descending upon this stadium, swirling in the middle of the field, but also pointing in the direction that Nashville is attacking. They continue to interrogate Kyle Nelson, the outside back.
The chemistry between Washington and Davis is apparent. They play on the same page. They're both lefties. They read each other's cues very well. When Washington steps to the inside, Davis overlaps. they've been a threat down this left flank all day, and they've been a handful for both Nelson and Rittmeyer to have to deal with.
Oh, Davis and Nelson. Heavy clash of heads, with Nelson getting the worst of it. Tough player. 120 minutes on Wednesday night.
That's quite the collision.
The shoulder of Davis.
I don't know how that resulted in a set piece for Nashville.
The call does go against Charleston.
It does, and it was against Nelson, who just took the shoulder to the face.
Near the hour mark. Davis and Melodo. Nashville attacking towards its supporters. Spurned by Mueller.
So if you notice, practically every set piece, you have both Melodo and Davis stepping up to the ball. Well, that's going to keep the defense guessing. Is it going to be an in-swinger from Melodo? Is it going to be an out-swinger from Davis?
Basua towards Guerra. Bullish challenge from Jimmy Ockford. Look at Daniel Rios tracking back to draw the whistle.
Well, let's talk about Jimmy Ockford's tackle. That was an absolutely necessary tackle in the center of the midfield. He was down numbers. He steps in, front foot tackles, very sure-footed, but an enormous, right here, he has to win this tackle. If not, Guerra's in, behind, and it could be a 2-2 situations for Nashville. Great timing by Jimmy Ockford. And then also to what you mentioned, Daniel Rios doing his part to come back defensively and help, earns the free kick.
Launched in. Appeared to touch a battery player on the way out. It will be a Nashville SC corner kick. Floated in by Davis. LaGrassa leaping. Pinballs around. Winning it back was Daniel Rios. Stays with Rios. Win, first time hit. Turned away by Patterson. Battery content. Just to clear to safety. Win ran himself out of play. Pushing back with Rittmeyer. Close again by Taylor Washington. Player, he says, quote, "I just bring my lunch pail to work." Basua grappling with Forrest Lasso.
So maybe you can explain to me what that means.
Blue collar player.
Got it.
Saying he's not here to pull any tricks, make any highlight reels. Just does his job.
Although there's no one that has a better goal face than Taylor Washington. The sheer joy on his face when he scores a goal.
Only seen it twice in his 2 seasons.
And yet I'm still talking about it. That's how good it is.
Nearly had one tonight.
Oh, he struck
Not
that
for
very well.
Heroic defending from a Battery player in the first half.
So let's address the fact that the Battery is still strong-legged right now. They're 62 minutes into the game, and having had 3 games in 7 days, that's a large volume.
Patterson making inroads, squares it back across and behind Basua. Lewis, pressure mounting from the visitors. Guerra, back for Lewis. And a rare chance for Nashville to set sail on a counterattack. It's Alan Wynn with Malota overlapping.
Battery did a great job of getting 6 players behind the ball immediately to Nashville's 3.
Creative movement from the home side. Rios. He's whistled for the foul. Gives us time to send it down to the sidelines. Our Kelly Glendinning. What do you have for us, KG?
Just have a couple of stats from the first half. First off, we have Matt LaGrassa with his 2nd week in a row of clocking the most distance, and also he has the most number of sprints tonight. He is tied with Alan Wynn and Taylor Washington for that, and then the fastest on the field in the first half was Taylor Washington, clocking in at 20.4 miles per hour. Back to you.
Any surprises in those stats? The usual suspects hitting all the highs. Here's Taylor Washington. Ross has turned it over. Guerra turning inward. Rittmeyer. Lewis can hit them from here. One more pass over to Kelly. Now Higashi. Away from Davis. Taken back by Rittmeyer. Put away by Ockford. Battery continuing to bare their teeth. Now in the 65th minute. Turned right back over. The 9th seed prodding away once more. Major League Soccer is almost here. Season tickets are available. Ticket packages start at just $25 a match. Payment plans are available. All you got to do is go visit NashvilleSC.com to purchase your 2020 MLS season tickets.
So, John, I suspect we're going to see Ropapa soon. Would that be a guess of yours? He's been so effective down the stretch for Nashville, and he's been such a spark offensively. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the next few people that we see checking into this game.
There's Ropapa Mensah warming up for Nashville. One of the joys of the postseason. Once you get past this first round, there's no more weekday games. You're always going to get a team at full fitness. There is the statuesque figure of Ropapa Mensah. Nelson. Out for a throw. And the pause will give the Battery a chance to make the first substitution of the match. A player blessed with blazing speed. Nicu Daly, a 19-year-old teenager from Jamaica, will replace Nico Rittmeyer. The Nashville players will know his name and number. He scored the lone U.S. Open Cup goal against Nashville on a lightning-fast run, gallivanting through the majority of Nashville's midfield in a cool, calm finish to make that game 1-1. And eventually the Battery would win that match, or excuse me, advance via penalties and oust Nashville from the Open Cup. So Daly in and Rittmeyer out. Daly, 2 goals, 2 assists this season. All of his points, meaning goals and assists, have come against playoff teams. Nashville yet to make a substitution in this match. Also of note, if we were to go to extra time, the teams would be afforded an extra substitution, so they'd have 4 available substitutes in this match, but only if extra time were to occur. Of ideas in the last 5 minutes for either side.
No, and with that recent substitution of Daly, there's a slight tweak in the formation.
Gotten word that Ropapa-Mensah will enter shortly, and he will replace Alan Wynn.
Which is Ropapa's natural spot as a right winger. Good fresh legs.
Darnell King recovering, and it stays with Basua. Lasso stabbing in, now Kelly. Turned away by Akinyoti. Higashi. Lewis, flag is down. Cross comes in low, steered out by Davis. Here comes Nashville. Melodo wide for Rios. And they'll expand into their back line. Force the battery to chase.
So if you see this shape, and you've noticed that with the substitution of bringing Daly up top and Basua stayed up top, they've now dropped Guerra into the midfield and they've pushed Lewis onto that right side, who is limping a bit on the field right now, Lewis is, which is not a good thing for Charleston at this stage in the game. They really need his ability to serve a ball, and I think they've put him over onto this right flank so he could chop back onto his left foot, but he's noticeably limping as the play is progressing on the left side of the field. That you can't see him in your screen right now, but that has been a change that Charleston's made in this lineup. Just tweaking some of the players off that substitution. Still in a 4-4-2, but has moved Guerra into the center of the midfield so he can get more touches on the ball.
Melodo with limited options. Rios trying to hold his run. Give the defender the advantage. Nashville staying compact. Scores around the Eastern Conference. Pittsburgh advancing earlier this evening. Blue City ending the season of the Tampa Bay Rowdies, a team that spent a lot of time at the top of the table throughout the regular season. And in the game that these two teams care most about, Indy 11 dispatching New York Red Bulls 2 1-0. Winner of this match will face Indy 11. If it's Nashville, it will be next Saturday, 7 o'clock Central at First Tennessee Park, but they have much more work to do here to close out the defiant Charleston Battery.
So it's games like this that absolutely torment a coach or a manager. You have so many opportunities in the first half. Fearless defensive work by the opposition with good looks on frame, and you're in a 2-1 match. Those are the games and those are the moments that keep you up at night, the what ifs. If those goals go in the back of the net, if Washington's hits, if Wynn's hits twice, he had 2 good looks on frame. This game's a whole different dimension, but now you're in the 73rd minute and you're in a battle. And Charleston has had a good part of the play in the second half. It's been far more balanced in the second half between the two sides.
So Ropapa-Mensah in, and he replaces Alan Wynn. Mensah, 5 of his 6 goals this season have come in the second half. He was the lone swap that Gary Smith made to the starting 11 from Nashville's last iteration in the regular season finale. Nervy moments there with the defending from Oxford. But back to the point about Ropapa-Mensah, Gary Smith pulled him aside at practice, told him the news that he was going to start Taylor Washington over him. He said, look, Ropapa, you are, quote, a match winner for us, as in if he can bring on Mensah late in a game when they need a goal, he's the best player for that spot.
Well, and now's his chance to seize the day. Seize his moment, make his impact, leave his imprint on this game.
Higashi with Guerra to his right. Guerra, that's deflected and turned wide. Basua on the doorstep. Could not turn it on target.
So since they've moved Guerra into the center of the midfield, playing in that withdrawn attacking midfield position, he's been far more effective. Tidy little ball into the near post. It goes off Oxford and deflects. Basua and Lasso had a really good position on Basua in the near post, but unfortunately Matt Pickens was going the wrong direction. He was already going to that back post thinking that's where that ball was going to go before it was deflected. So that's sturdy defending by Lasso.
Charleston making a substitution of their own. This is Dante Marini in for Kyle Nelson. So the right back for Charleston, his night has expired, and Dante Marini, a player who has scored 4 goals this season. 3 of them have come as a substitute. 27-year-old steps in. Charleston in his blood. The only pro team that he has ever played for, now in his 6th season.
And Marini's naturally a midfielder. So they've taken off Nelson, who's a back, added Marini in, who's a midfielder, changing their shape yet again. You see Lewis has gone back into the center of the midfield. It's looking like Charleston's adjusted into a 3-5-2. They're sitting in the back with Mueller, Van Schaik, and Patterson playing in 3. And they've got Guerra, Kelly, and Lewis in the center of the midfield with Higashi and Marini running wide.
A yellow card issued to Jimmy Oxford for that challenge. An aerial duel with a Battery player. Let's see Oxford saying, that's my first foul. It's a battle with Arthur Basua. The reasoning behind Greg Daka's yellow card was maybe Oxford chopped his arms down to the facial area of Basua.
Yeah, he has to have the ability to come down if he goes up. He did climb his back, and he did go for his back. No doubt that it was a foul, but I think Oxford has a point. It was his first foul. Does it warrant a yellow card at that point in the game?
Set up the set piece. Greg Daka gives back to Nashville. Well, Ronnie, it's time to vote for today's Budweiser Man of the Match. Find the poll at the official Nashville SC Twitter account at Nashville SC.
Tough one today.
Got Rios with the goal. Got Lebo Maloto with the goal. Matt Pickens hasn't really been called into action much. He's usually a candidate. Just got some good wing play from Taylor Washington and Alan Wynn.
Yep.
Justin Davis as well.
Justin Davis has an assist on the day. He's been really effective on this left flank. The combination of he and Washington has been good. I think he's going to prove himself to be the man of the match as it continues to go on, as Nashville's going to have to defend more and more, and players are going to be coming forward. And I know it's unorthodox to pick a back, but I think Justin Davis has had a really good game today. I think he's gone forward. I think he's had game after game for Nashville Soccer Club that's been consistent and strong and with few errors. And I think today, with the assist that he got on the second goal to Rios, I think he'd be my vote right now.
Here's Taylor Washington with options aplenty. Washington's cross towards Mensah. King bearing down. Chased by Guerra. Intercepted by Higashi, given right back to LaGrassa. Davis. Washington pondering a service. Always going right at Marini. The cross coming in, it's Kuzminski who claims it.
And it's a good thing Kuzminski came in, got that, because Ropapa Mensah had beaten Higashi on that back post, and that was going to be an easy tap in for him. Great wingspan, great extension, good timing by Kuzminski to win that ball.
Lewis did all he could.
It took 3 Nashville players to come out of that with the ball.
The tireless Taylor Washington again. That's an excellent challenge. Full stretch from Jared Van Shank.
What a quality ball from Lebo Maloto to play in. Found the seam, took a touch to the outside, looked up, played a bent ball in, found the proper seam.
Nashville going to make a substitution. They will take out their premier playmaker in Lebo Maloto, and they will replace him with a little more grit in Derek Jones. Rangy 22-year-old from Ghana. This will be a moment of personal redemption for Jones. He was injured on May 30th in Murfreesboro against Charleston in the U.S. Open Cup. Broke his leg in that match. It's been a long way back. This is just the 7th appearance for Derek Jones. It's being acquired early in the season. Coca-Cola corner kick for Nashville Soccer Club. Justin Davis standing over. Pumped back in by LaGrassa. Last off of Darnell King. Safety first from Forrest Lasso. This is all happening in front of tonight's Ashton Real Estate attendance, 6,253. Another substitution for the Battery, a forward for forward substitution. Arthur Bossua's night is over, and in comes Ian Svantesson. Upgrade of 4 inches. Svantesson 6'6". 1 goal this year for Svantesson. Daly off of King. Now Guerra. No one home. Miscommunication with Marini.
So the clock is Nashville's friend at this point. And I know Derek Jones is coming in because he's a great offensive threat, but he's going to have to do the defensive work at this point in the game. There's 9 minutes left plus stoppage time. There's a 1-goal lead, and all those midfielders, Bolu, LaGrassa, are all going to have to do that work. And Jones is going to have to make sure that he's tracking back defensively and doing that work in the midfield, because Charleston is putting numbers forward.
Svantesson trying to chase down this ball. Matt Pickens using the limits of the 18-yard box.
Great chase back by Taylor Washington. Excellent commitment to defending.
Right back up and involved in the attack. Here's Rios. Shadowed by Van Schaik, who's been superb tonight. This back line of the Battery has had their hands full. Some of the most attacking-minded players in the entire league. Ones that will be playing in another league next year. That one in particular, Daniel Rios. Lost by Davis. And Davis probably going to go in the book here.
That'll get a card.
Grabbing Kelly, and now Taylor Washington doesn't like the reaction from Kelly.
Playoff soccer. But look who runs up from his center back position every single time is Forrest Lasso. Captain Lasso is always there, whether it's calming his team down or whether he's just putting his 6'4" stature standing behind you.
6'6".
Sorry.
I think it's more of the bouncer role for Lasso.
That's exactly the 6'6".
Yeah. When there's commotion at the club, he comes rolling in.
Here comes the booking for Davis, as expected. Deserved card, deserved booking. However, gamesmanship by Davis to stop the counterattack. They were lost in transition, and he had not much of a choice. So it goes out of bounds, unfortunately, right there. Looks up, he's numbers down, and the only way to stop the play is to grab the ball. It's not sportsmanlike, but it is gamesmanship.
Also note, playoff yellow cards do not accumulate towards any sort of suspension. The only way you can be suspended via cards is if you get a red card in a match. You'd have to sit out the next one. Svantesson, with Daly to his left, runs right over Justin Davis. The cross fizzed in. Steered away by LaGrassa as far as Patterson. Lofted in, Lasso into the back of an offensive player. Not many complaints from the Battery.
Well, the player was in front of Lasso and went to the ground and impeded Lasso's ability to win that ball. It technically could have been a set piece for Nashville.
Well, the votes are in, Ronnie. Tonight's Budweiser man of the match voted on by the fans. It is number 14, Daniel Rios. His goal late in the first half is the difference right now. Oh, and it's bounced to Daniel Rios. He can end it here. Cuts it back. Daniel Rios, that's a spectacular save from Joe Kuzminski to save the season for the Battery. Denying the best and most lethal goal scorer in the Eastern Conference.
Chops on Van Schaik, and then Kuzminski gets to the ground, gets up, makes an enormous save to keep this within striking distance for the Battery.
That goes in, this game's over.
Oh, 4 minutes plus stoppage left, up 3-1, game would be done. That is a world-class save by Kuzminski. Good defending by Van Schaik too. Trying to get Rios off balance.
Comes the corner. Headed across by Lasso. Kuzminski leaping over Rios.
That was a pretty good collision between Kuzminski and Rios.
Distribution leaving much to be desired. Continue to try and seek out Daniel Rios. Charleston still in this.
Well done by Matt Pickens, recognizing his opportunity to come off his line, make it safe, eat up a little bit of the time. And we also know that Matt Pickens' ability to distribute. He'll get a quality, well past midfield, one bounce to the other 18.
Here's Mensah. In a failed connection with Rios.
It's just too tight in that space. Ropapa's got to create space, face up 1 versus 1, get to that corner.
Jones onside, going right at Kelly. Jones slithering through. Derek Jones! This is forever. This is the night Nashville wins its first playoff game.
This is sheer grit by Jones. He stays on side, he faces up, he's 1 versus 1, he chops in, he has a good look, he's going through defenders, he gets in between them, gets to the ground and just decides, you know what, I'm gonna throw a leg at it while I'm on the ground, 1 versus 3, similar to Daniel Rios' goal a week ago, and in it goes, seals it up. Nashville can sit back. Here comes Nashville's substitution of probably putting in his 5th defender, lock down the hatches at this point. Derek Jones converts a few minutes after he gets into the game on sheer grit. That's all that was. He fought and he battled and he scored that goal, and Nashville's up 3-1.
The first goal for Nashville and Derek Jones. His first goal for the boys in gold in his 7th appearance. The player that had played just 56 minutes since his injury on May 30th.
And I suspect what you're going to see soon is Nashville adding a 5th defender in.
They've got Kosuke Kimura set to check in a moment. Charleston trying to snatch one right back here with Svantesson.
Nashville just needs to keep their composure, move their feet, do the work. The clock is their friend. They've got a 3-1 lead. Got to keep it under control right now. Don't celebrate too early. Stay in the moment and keep protecting Matt Pickens in goal.
And after 90 minutes, Nashville will make another substitution. Well, first, there's the 4 minutes of stoppage time that will be added. And next, Kosuke Kimura still waiting to get into this game. And it will be a nice moment here for Kimura. I'll tell you about it in a second, but there is our Budweiser man of the match. One of Nashville's 3 goals. And now Nashville can finally make that substitution. And it will be the end of the night for our Budweiser man of the match, Daniel Rios. 21 goals with the postseason included. They can feel it now.
So Nashville's just added in their 5th defender in Kosuke Kimura, and they put Ropapa-Mensah as that lone striker right now.
And for Kimura, nice moment for him. His last appearance was August 22nd. That was against New York Red Bulls too. Has been battling a back issue. Mensah. Still Mensah. Turned away by 2 battery players. The last touch was Ghanaian, so last win off Mensah. There's that strength and take-on ability that you're hoping for him to display.
There are very few defenders in the league that when Ropapa-Mensah faces up, it's the same with Alan Wynn, but it's a different type of aggression that he has.
It's Derek Jones again, bombarding through. Jones spins it wide.
It's nice to see some glimpses of Derek Jones today.
It's Nashville's secret weapon in the playoffs.
It's good to see him gaining some confidence. He strikes it well, he goes to the far post, but he's isolating and he's getting in behind the 3. He's taking complete advantage of 3 fatigued back 3 players in Mueller, Van Schaik, and Patterson. And he's running out of the midfield and getting in the gaps in between those 3.
And now Jones sliding forward for Mensah. Kimura. Akinyoti. Gary Smith was telling us the return of Derek Jones, it's almost like a new signing for this club. He's a player on Major League Soccer contract with Nashville SC.
Great defensive pressure and tackle from Bolu Akinyoti.
About a minute left. Battery looking for some sort of lifeline, and again, Justin Davis up to the task. Unless something crazy happens, Ronnie, Indy 11 in Nashville at First Tennessee Park next Saturday. A salivating matchup between two teams that many people said would be Eastern Conference champions when the polls came out. Most often the debate was about those two squads after an incredible arms race during the offseason and player signings. Oh, Nashville can add to it here. Washington across towards a disappointed Ropapa Mensah.
And a smiling Taylor Washington as he gets up.
And now just seconds remaining.
That's it.
And that's it. This game is gold. Nashville Soccer Club has its first ever playoff win, and there will be an encore at First Tennessee Park. The boys in gold will face Indy 11, and they will do so in the Eastern Conference semifinals next Saturday night at 7 o'clock at First Tennessee Park. We'd like to thank our corporate partners, Nissan, Vanderbilt Health, Dex Imaging, Budweiser, Puckett's, Kroger, Coca-Cola, MyTV 30, and Fox 17. Gary Smith, who knows a little bit about a playoff run on the MLS Cup with Colorado back in 2010.
I think he's smiling. Look at him.
He knows his team has done the job. Happy with his inclusion of Taylor Washington in the 11.
And Ropapa did just as he expected, came in, provided some dangerous attacking moments, additional threats, fresh legs that he came in with.
Well, they battled. Nashville finally wore down the battery. But Charleston, their defiant season in which they were pushed to the brink in the end of the regular season, they make the playoffs, and it ends tonight in Nashville. Plenty more to come in our post-game show from First Tennessee Park. Nashville 3 goals tonight to advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. One of the most spectacular ones of the season came from that man. A superhuman strike from Derek Jones. We'll look at those highlights in our rollout of this segment, but first, welcome to First Tennessee Park. John Freeman, Ronnie Woodard with you. And Ronnie, this was everything you could hope for Nashville SC. Granted, Charleston did claw one back with a penalty kick in the first half. A quick response, though, from Nashville, and the boys in gold, for the majority of the game, carried the play, although got a very stiff test from the Charleston battery.
Charleston came out after halftime, and they changed formations and personnel several times in the second half. And for a little while there, about halfway through the second half, they had some really good rhythm. And Nashville was panicking a little bit, turning over in possession, and giving some a little bit more dangerous looks on frame to Charleston. Now, the good news for Nashville is they weren't converted. They didn't get that final shot off. Matt Pickens was never tested, but it did cause a time to pause for Nashville, and they had to really tighten up. But then, having a 2-1 lead, Charleston was forced to make some decisions, and they had to go into 3 in the back and try to get that equalizing goal, which then opens up for Derek Jones to come in from the midfield and score that goal.
Typically, the phrase is 3 points, 2 pints. No points tonight. The regular season's over, and Nashville moves along in the bracket. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at our final stats from tonight. And Ronnie, speaking to a lot of your points of previous here, Nashville deserved winners in this one, 14-6 on the shot category.
Yeah, and every bit of it was there. There was valiant defending from Charleston. I thought the back line of Patterson, Van Schaik, Mueller, and Nelson were outstanding throughout the day. Even though Nelson got caught in possession early in the first half and it resulted in the goal, I thought that those four were very concrete, and they managed Daniel Rios very well within the flow of the game. Daniel Rios scores his goal off of a set piece on a corner kick, but within the flow, Van Schaik and Mueller were exceptional against a player in the league that scored 20-plus goals. So, but Nashville deservedly gets the 3-1 win today.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the 89th minute goal from Derek Jones. Is this the best one of the season? We've seen some very high-quality goals. Maybe the best individual effort of the season to score a goal for Nashville.
I mean, I think that the timing of it's outstanding. I think his will to win is outstanding. I don't know that it's the best Nashville Soccer Club goal that we've seen this year. However, it might be one of the most important goals that Nashville Soccer Club has scored this year. One, Derek Jones needed that. He needed that confidence booster. He needed some reward. He worked through rehab. He's had an injury and a setback, and this is a good example of what he can bring to this team in the playoffs.
So what does tonight's win mean? Look at that matchup. 2 versus 3 at First Tennessee Park. This is a bring everyone you know type game. Playoff match against Indianapolis, a 7 o'clock on a Saturday. We go into games, Ronnie, and sometimes we're like, is this the biggest one in history? Is this the biggest game they've played of the season? Is this the biggest one in the last 2 years? There are absolutely no arguments about this one coming out.
Well, no.
Biggest game that the club has had ever.
Well, absolutely, and a chance to advance into the conference final. And this is exactly why the bracket is the way it is. 1, 2, 3, and 4 all advance into the semifinals. You can't ask for better opportunity to see great soccer than that.
The gauntlet has been set. It was set last week. Tough test tonight from the Battery, a team that eventually just ran out of gas after quite a compressed schedule down the stretch. Big performances tonight from Jimmy Ockford as well, and hopefully those fans will see them pack First Tennessee Park on Saturday. Should be a lovely night.
No one should be listening to us. Everyone should be here on Saturday night, 7 o'clock. Cheer on Nashville Soccer Club. They're making history. Every single game that they play, they're making another step in Nashville Soccer Club history. And you need to be here to see it.
That'll be Saturday night, 7 o'clock, First Tennessee Park, Nashville versus Indy 11. The boys in gold, they have done the job tonight. Their first ever playoff win, and they advance to the Eastern Conference semifinals. They were tested and trialed by the Charleston Battery, but goals in the end from Daniel Rios and Derek Jones provide the difference. We will see you next Saturday night. Nashville and Indy 11 on the horizon.